Welcome everybody to today's Purposeful Project webinar. Our mission, as you know, is to help 10 million people start and grow a business, and we help people for free. We never charge for our events, our bits of content throughout the digital universe. We're here to help you for free, learn business and not feel alone building your company. Today, we're going to be talking about YouTube, one of the subjects I've personally been obsessed with the last year and a half. And the three panelists we have here today are all people I personally follow and believe have a lot of knowledge about YouTube, and going to share that knowledge with you all today. So I think just before we get to the panelists and start hearing their story and how they built YouTube channels for clients and themselves, just before we do that, I just want to mention that the panelists themselves have given up their time today to help us for free. They're awesome individuals who've taken time out of their busy schedules to teach you things. So I will put their contacts in the chat. If you want to follow them and learn more after this webinar, please do that. And throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, please go to the question tab and ask. At the end, in about 20 minutes after we've had the download, we'll have a live Q&A, and you can come up on stage and ask the question directly that you have perhaps not been given the answer to during the webinar. So if there's anything that we don't answer now, then you can ask at the end in the Q&A, and look forward to that. I just want to say thank you to Tide Banking for supporting what we do. They are our partner on these webinar series. So Sammy, who is actually in the comment section right now, is from Tide. Sammy will be helping anybody that wants to understand business banking, understand how to make more out of their banking experience and learn from Tide. He is in the chat now, and you can talk to him about your banking needs. He will also be organizing a Zoom after this, educating anybody that wants to know how to perhaps leverage their online banking better with Tide. In addition, Tide have kindly offered £50 to anyone that opens up an account, and we will put the code that you need to use to get that in the chat as well. It's not an affiliate link. We don't make any money from that. We do it simply to try and bring some value to our community and hopefully help you have a better banking experience. So let's get to learning about YouTube. And I'm going to ask Curtis to start off with, to tell us a little bit about what he does and what he knows. Curtis, over to you.
Hi everyone. So I've been doing YouTube for years. I first started with my own personal channel back in the day, having fun, making little videos, and I've learned all the kind of mistakes along the way, made some terrible videos, and now I like to think they're a little bit better. I got to travel the world with Red Bull, and they saw my content, and that was like a high point in my YouTube journey. And then lockdown hit. I was working with lots of clients before that. I started a production company, making videos for clients, helping them out with their content, helping to go viral online. And then COVID hit, and obviously I couldn't work with my clients anymore. So I had to rethink the strategy a bit. I was with my dad, who's Mark Tilbury, and we started the Mark Tilbury YouTube channel, which has now got over 1.1 million subscribers and over 7 million followers on TikTok. So along the journey, along those 2 years or so with COVID, we're learning all the mistakes with that and building a business on YouTube, more or less, rather than just having fun on YouTube. So yeah, there's a lot of fun things I'm looking forward to sharing with you today.
I would just say that I knew Curtis and Mark when they were just 2 million followers on TikTok, and they just started the YouTube channel full on. So I'm proud that I knew them before they were super famous. But Curtis, we've had a few questions sent in based on your background, and I guess what we'd like to start off with is, what do you think is the best advice for a business that is looking to start a YouTube channel? What do you think are the first steps?
Yeah, so I think identify how your business is interesting to everyone. So we're talking to a personal training business, and they were actually making videos explaining how you can do these individual exercises that no one really was looking for and no one really knew about. And the pain point really we found, or a video we're coming up with, is actually people want to do less and then get more results instead of the individual exercises. So that's where we shifted the content, and we're thinking, how can you actually make your business more relevant to a wider audience? So obviously YouTube and TikTok is at the top of the funnel. So you want to move your leads through that funnel. So maybe the specific exercises come in after that. So once you've got maybe people into a page group, or they're part of your email list, and then you can nurture them that way. So yeah, it's thinking about how you can reach the most people at the top of the funnel, rather than just having that specific information that really alienates people that might be interested in your content, just from the start, really.
I'm making notes. So
I see.
jump back to unmiking. But so yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think the clarification around like it's almost like when you're engineering a YouTube channel, you're thinking about it as a marketing exercise and thinking about, I guess, the segmentation within YouTube, right? So is there any particular strategy you have for deciding what might be a good segment for people listening? Is there any particular way of looking at it?
Yeah, something I wanted to add as well is just lots of people go on YouTube and they're especially with business, and they're trying to hard sell. So they're saying, I'll buy my product, join my course, or join my membership, and they don't focus on giving that value first, which I think is really important. So people are online to be entertained and to learn. So as long as you're actually giving them that, then you're going to benefit a lot more than just asking and taking from them all the time. So as long as you can think about how your business is relevant to a wider range of people, and then how you can give to that audience rather than take, then you're going to have lots more success in that.
And I know on your journey that you pushed TikTok and got a lot of traffic there first. Do you feel that that was a large part of why YouTube then worked, or do you think YouTube was a separate strategy and it worked independently?
Yeah, I certainly think you need to have a huge influx of people. And if you do that via having a niche on YouTube, or having some kind of viral content somewhere else like YouTube, or like TikTok, or Instagram. Instagram Reels is massive at the moment, or even YouTube Shorts is crazy. So you can actually use the same content across all those different platforms. But yeah, I think it's really important to have that initial boost. But it only helps you to the stage that it gets some people over to your videos on YouTube, and they do have to stand alone, because even if you funnel lots of traffic over, if they're not staying and watching the video, then YouTube's not going to promote it in the algorithm, and that's where the real like insane growth comes from. So you have to have a separate strategy for YouTube, but it doesn't hurt to get people to come over from your TikTok or from your Instagram. It certainly helps.
I noticed on your strategy, you have a podcast and you have your, I guess, weekly content videos. Do you have different YouTube channels for those products? Could you quickly explain that strategy to people listening?
Yeah, so I feel like if I'm subscribed to a channel, then I subscribe for specific content. So if, for example, the Mark Tilbury main channel, they subscribe for 10 to 15-minute videos about investing, finance, and business. So if you're going to then upload a podcast that's an hour and a bit or 2 hours long, even if it's in the same niche, then I feel like you're not really giving the audience what they signed up for. So you're going to get less people clicking on that video, less people watching the video all the way through, and then your next videos are going to suffer as well. So I like to think about it like you're uploading consistently the same style of content and the same kind of length of content and topics, and you can slowly transition people. So maybe we do a video on credit cards, then we can talk about credit score, then we can talk about maybe the recession and current things that are happening in the market. But yeah, it's all about transitioning people slowly and bringing that audience with you on the journey. I think that was a good analogy. It's like a napkin analogy. Like if you give someone something in a restaurant once, like what was it? Like give them a red napkin one time, give them a blue napkin the next time, and then a yellow napkin the time after that. But it's still a napkin, You're slowly transitioning them to the different styles of content inside your niche, but you're giving them the same thing every time they come back.
And finally, how do you leverage shorts, the feature inside YouTube, which to some people is new? I mean, for those that are using it, it feels like we've had it forever, but it's new to a lot of people who are learning about YouTube. And how do you leverage that?
Yeah, so we do it in two separate ways. So we have a shorts channel that we upload all of our TikToks onto. And as long as we're making sure that the videos get over 100% watch time or very close to that, we know the videos are going to go crazy. Most of them have got over 1 million views on the short channel. And then we also do one a week on the main channel every Friday, just to get a huge influx of people. And we always make sure that we're uploading specific reels. So if we did a reel on a short, if we did a short on how to do well in an job interview, then we know that wouldn't do well on the main channel, because the main channel is more about investing in business. no one's interested in getting a job that's subscribed to that channel. So even if that does go viral and we get so many people subscribing for getting a job, then they're not going to like the rest of the content on the channel. So it's really thinking about what specific YouTube short you're uploading on what channel. And if it doesn't fit, then maybe have a separate channel for that, like we did.
Curtis, I'm always blown away by your knowledge, and thank you for that. We've got questions coming in, so we'll ask you at the end as well. Please stick around. And I'm going to come to Jatin now. I'm a new fan to you, Jatin. I really love your work, and perhaps you could tell everybody listening a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jatin, and I actually started doing this YouTube thing just like Curtis during the pandemic. Now, just like Curtis, I tried YouTube 8 years ago as well when I was just 14, and I was one of those guys who just wanted to get the views, get an audience who can watch my videos, but I stopped. However, during the pandemic, I felt like it was the perfect time for me to just document my journey, because I was watching Gary Vee a lot back then, because he was on TikTok, he was everywhere, and it was just asked that, I mean, he just kept saying that you should get on TikTok, you should get on TikTok, you should get on TikTok. So I'm like, all right, if I'm going to start my content journey, let me start with TikTok. And it blew up, right? It started blowing up. So then I moved to YouTube as well. And I kept uploading videos on YouTube. And a year later, I've been lucky, or just over a year later, I've been lucky to get over 80,000 subscribers, which is not the biggest number, but for me, starting just a little over a year ago and being at 80,000 subscribers is still a huge thing. So yeah, that was kind of my backstory of how everything started for me.
I think many of us listening, including myself, would be very happy if we got 80,000 subscribers. It's a real achievement. And I think the engagement side, I can see that you have a lot of engagement. Maybe talk us through a little bit about when you knew you got the formula right and what that formula was. How did you know you got it right?
So, well, actually, with me, when starting YouTube, I was first just posting videos, just whatever I felt like had a hook, had value and a call to action, those three things, which is just the start, middle, and end of a video. I was just doing that, and I was just posting videos, and I never kind of looked into what really makes a viral video, such as Curtis mentioned, watch time, click-through rate, all those stuff which go into making a good YouTube video. So start of 2022 actually is when I actually started to look into, and I even had Curtis who showed me and guided me through everything of this as well. So I started really looking into how to make a good thumbnail, how to actually make content in a way where the structure is something the audience wants to listen, because the audience cannot stay on a video for 10 minutes, because as we know, the attention span of humans is less than a goldfish or something. So it's really difficult to keep the audience on your video for a long period of time. So I started thinking of ways to make the videos more entertaining, educating, which is edutaining, which is just combined with, just make videos more edutaining to be able to keep them on the videos. And that's how I got my first kind of viral video with over 106, not first, but for this year, it was the first video with over 180,000 views currently going at. So those are the only things. I just looked at making great content which people can keep listening to by making a good structure of the video, making an amazing thumbnail, and just keeping a catchy title.
On the subject of thumbnails and titles, how do you get that right? I mean, people listening, can understand the formula, but getting the thumbnail right, getting the title right, how do you do that?
So I'll start with the thumbnail, and I never actually knew this, but it's common that most people watch videos from a phone, and we think that they're on a computer, but most people are on a phone. So when it comes to creating a thumbnail, you just need to make sure that the thumbnail pictures you use are big. So if it's just my face, it should be massive on the thumbnail. It might look big when you're editing the thumbnail, but it just has to be so massive that you can clearly see the expression, even if the thumbnail is so tiny. Then just make sure that the text you're using is also big, but at the same time, I'm trying to do this more often now, which is by using commanding text. So instead of how to make money or do this to make money, right? So instead of just telling them how to make money, I would be telling them like, do this to make money, which is like commanding them to actually click on the video. And the third and final thing, I think, is just get inspiration from existing thumbnails out there, from other people, and just basically look what they're doing. If they have got more views, then you can basically get some inspiration, play around, put your own twist to it, and that's how you can perfect a thumbnail, in my opinion. Now, again, you can create the best thumbnail, but if you don't have the title right, then it doesn't go well as well. So with the title, my only strategy is just making sure the title has words which are something which people want to click on. So such words like quick, or words which are just engaging. And the second thing is just getting inspiration from other titles and see what they're doing, and just basically get inspiration from them. So that's my two kind of things which I look into when making thumbnails and title.
So tools like TubeBuddy and products like that, are these things that you use, or is it all down now based on instinct?
So I do use VidQ. I think it's called VidQ, which is similar to TubeBuddy. I don't use them for the purpose of getting anything such as any kind of strategies there. I mainly use them to check the analytics or tags or the tag score and stuff like that, to just make sure before my video goes up, I'm just ensuring that the score, the quality score, which they like to call it, is at least 50 out of 50, or at least somewhere over 45. So it does help you a lot to understand how well is your channel performing, because they have an extension which tells you how many views you have got in the last 48 hours, in the last hour, 24 hours, which just helps you to know that, okay, your channel overall is doing well. And if it's dying, you will know that, okay, you're not doing something right.
That's great. Again, we're at vidIQ and TubeBuddy. We're not getting any affiliate income from it, but we'll put the links in the comments so everybody can see these tools that even experts like these panelists use to sometimes figure out whether YouTube videos are working. And so might be useful to everybody listening. And just before we moved, Afzal, to maybe just one last question, if I could, Jatin. What do you feel like people want to make money out of YouTube? Because YouTube, I mean, I know myself, it's an expensive proposition to put a YouTube video together. It takes a lot of time, which costs money, therefore. And of course, like you're talking about thumbnails, a title, all this is work. So what do you think is a good strategy for making money out of all this for those listening who perhaps want to do it?
So I feel like when starting off YouTube, because you have a long way to go until you hit that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, which is when you're allowed to be monetized by YouTube and you get money from the ad revenue. The best way, I would say, first, initially getting started, don't go to brands, just do work with affiliates. So if a brand has an affiliate program, and that affiliate program is a win-win situation for both the audience and you, then it's a no-brainer for you to not use affiliate links in every video you do, because people really underestimate how much affiliate income can actually make on YouTube. And some people actually make more with affiliate income than the actual YouTube ad revenue, because there are brands who will pay you a good amount, depending obviously what the brand is about. Now, once you have actually built your YouTube and once you've gathered a decent amount of subscribers and they trust you, you can start. You don't even need to worry about reaching out to brands. Brands will directly email you to be able to basically sponsor them on the videos or not. And at the end of the day, by that time, you will also hit that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours when you can monetize your YouTube channel as well.
And again, for those listening, an affiliate link, sometimes we use this terminology like everybody knows what it is. But for those listening that don't know, it's basically where perhaps you get a commission every time your link is clicked. It is a really useful and powerful thing to do if you're trying to figure out a way to monetize your channel before perhaps you've got the volume to earn it in the traditional way, which is clicks for income on the ad side from YouTube's perspective. So it's something actually at the Purposeful Project we're very conscious of. We don't want to charge for our help, so we don't actually personally do affiliate links, but I think it's really good advice for anyone that's building a YouTube channel and needs to monetize it. So Jatin, thank you for that. We've got lots of questions coming in for you too, so if you could stick around to the end and we'll go to the live Q&A in a minute. So, but thank you very much. And Afzal, welcome. Would you please unmic and perhaps share with everyone a little bit of your background? And yeah, that would be great. Thanks.
Sure, amazing. Well, hello everyone. My name's Afzal Hussein. My YouTube journey started about 3 years ago, and it was quite a random one. I basically started my career working for an investment bank. And obviously coming from like a working class background, it's kind of rare for like anyone that I knew to go and work for a company called Goldman Sachs. So I got in, and then I thought, you know what? There's a lot of, young people trying to break into this industry, but they don't have a clue how to get in. So I thought, let me share a video a week on career advice on how to secure internships, ace your interviews, all of that kind of stuff. And then it started taking off, getting traction. And at the same time, I think it's important for me to note or mention that I was posting a lot of career advice on LinkedIn. And so my LinkedIn following grew a bit. So it was like 20,000 followers. And then every time I put a video out on YouTube, I just shared it on LinkedIn. So that kind of helped it get initial traction. And fast forward 3 years, I've got now 100,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm happy to take any questions later on, but I'm sure, Simon, you've got a few questions for me first.
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of you holding the plaque.
Yeah, it's up there actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very exciting moment. I know.
Yeah.
I wish I could double heart when that happened. It's really,
Yeah.
I know people listening. I know, it is a lot of work to get a YouTube channel to, those sorts of numbers, the tens of thousands, and it's a real achievement. So you should be very proud to have it up there on the shelf. It's good to see. But I kind of want to ask what it was like to get that into post. But I think we all know what that was probably very joyful after all your hard work. But maybe talk to people a little bit about the process to getting to 100,000 subscribers. How did it happen? Was it instant? Or, you mentioned LinkedIn there, was really interesting. Again, leveraging maybe other networks to build up your channel. But what do you think was the secret recipe to your success?
I think for me, so it goes back to unfair advantages. So everyone needs to kind of play on their unfair advantages, whatever that might be. And for me, it was the fact that I was sharing career advice, but I was previously working at Goldman Sachs, and a lot of graduates wanted to break into a prestigious organization. So after leaving and putting content on Goldman Sachs specifically and career advice that was kind of unconventional at the time, it gathered a lot of interest from the viewers. A lot of young people were watching it and then sharing it with their friends. So that helped some of the videos do well. And I think the most important thing for me was consistency. I said to myself when I started, I'm going to post one video a week for a year, have no expectations whatsoever, and see what happens. And then by the end of the first year, the channel was on like 25,000 subscribers. So then it was like a side thing for me. It wasn't like a full-time job. I was just doing YouTube as a hobby, but I just maintained consistency. And I thought with each video, I need to kind of share some value, keep it consistent, and then it will naturally just keep growing. Because it's very rare that you see YouTube channels decline in subscribers, right? So if you keep at it, it will naturally just grow.
And the videos that you make, did you find that you always had a similar theme, back to what Curtis was saying earlier about what people expect from your channel? Is that something you've always done?
Yeah, so a lot of the people that subscribe want to get like career advice, tips on securing offers, internship, interview, all of that stuff. So, it's going niche is actually a very good strategy. Some people try and go too broad. And oftentimes, like I've experimented on my channel, I've done different types of videos. Sometimes they just don't get the same reception. And it's when you go back to basics and look at the analytics and you see which videos really popped off, you see they all follow a similar trend.
Yeah, reviewing the analytics is crucial, actually, isn't it? It's fascinating when you actually go and see.
I need to get better at it myself, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, upload times, even right times of day, all of it makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. And also, I think, like recently, I looked at my audience demographic, and for the most part of the life of my channel is predominantly US and UK. And now there's a large part of my audience from India. So I have to keep that in mind when I upload as well.
So talk a little bit about SEO. I know this is an area you've looked into, but maybe share with the audience what you've learned about SEO.
Yeah, I think SEO is very important, but you don't want to focus on it too much, because at the end of the day, if you're putting good value into your videos, people will share it, they'll get the likes, and they'll kind of go a bit more viral or go further on YouTube. But basic things to include on your videos, like if there's a keyword, include it in the title. But more importantly, in the video description, you can, if you write a long description that has all the keywords that you're referencing on the video, that helps. And then when you're uploading, you can include tags. YouTube says it doesn't really pay too much attention to those tags, but there's no harm in doing it. That's my perspective.
And when coming up with YouTube video ideas, I know that's something a lot of people struggle with. What's your process for coming up with ideas? It does feel like it's quite high pressure to have to come up with an idea every week, for example. What's your creative process? How do you come up with ideas?
So idea generation is funny because sometimes like you might sit down with a pen and pad and write down 50 ideas, like they'll come to you naturally. Sometimes you get amazing video ideas when you're in the shower or bathroom. One good resource I would recommend everyone watching to check out is answerthepublic.com. Now, if you go to that website and you type a word that's, you know, of interest to you, for me, let's say banking, it will come up with like hundreds of questions that people on the internet are asking regarding that word. And that's just 100 video ideas right there. Another good tip I would do, like oftentimes I'm creating videos for the younger me. So when I was in uni, what were the questions I was asking myself? So it'll be like, what's an internship? How do I get into Goldman Sachs? What are the different divisions at Goldman Sachs? What is investing? What is inflation? What is interest rates? And then you could pick one keyword and then you do a spider diagram, create subtopics. It's like a tree. There's a branch, there's a, you know, the trunk, and then there's so many different branches. So you just branch out, and before you know it, you have so many ideas. I think a lot of people scare themselves with, oh, I don't have 52 ideas for the year, but they will come to you. Just do 2 or 3, and then you get other ideas. And then the last one on this one is check out other channels in your niche. So there's other channels similar to mine that focus on consulting or other types of niches in that career space, right? So I could go on their channels and see what videos have really popped off for them, what videos have gone viral for them, and then recreate that viral with my own value add, or from my perspective, or from a banking perspective, etc. So that's a good way to kind of get ideas for videos.
I think collaboration is something really interesting with other people in your niche, right? I mean, I know Mark and Curtis had me on their podcast show. I think I have 1,000 subscribers just because they had me on their podcast show. So thank you for that. Plus that seems to be another good way to go. What's your experience in that area?
Yeah, collaborations are good. I think it's important to kind of collaborate with the right people. Some people are out there just to kind of jump off of your growth and vice versa. But if there's a mutual benefit and your audience is like, there's no point collaborating with someone whose audiences are so different to what your channel kind of offers, because then naturally it's going to be negative for your channel. So just be a bit conscious. You want it to be mutually beneficial.
Makes total sense. One final question before we move to the floor for people to come up and ask questions. So anyone that wants to ask a question, you can raise your hand up now. In a minute, we'll bring you up. But just before we move to the audience for live questions, I just wanted to talk about YouTube ads for a second. What's your view on YouTube ads? Is this a good path to go down? There's a lot of urban legends around it, like once you do it, you're forever having to pay YouTube. Is it better to go organic? What's the truth? Tell us what you know.
So I'll be honest. Personally, I've never done YouTube ads, and that's basically because I haven't really given it any thought. There are channels, there are businesses. I know people who use YouTube ads, and it's done a lot for them. It's worked for them. I think it's an option that you should definitely explore. Personally, I haven't, but I don't think some people have a negative stigma towards it. Some people don't. If it works, it works. End of the day, if you want to get traction and you need to buy YouTube ads, so be it.
Curtis or Jatin, have you had any experience with YouTube ads? Just out of interest?
So is this actually running ads to get subscribers to your channel? Or
yes.
For other reason? Oh yeah, I wouldn't do it for subscribers to your channel. I'd say maybe to sign up to a group or to capture their email address, but not to go directly to the channel. Just because if your content's good enough, it's going to get pushed in the algorithm anyway. So it just shows that maybe you need to work on your content more than running ads to it, because it's just going to kill the growth anyway.
Okay, well, Jatin, any thoughts on that?
I mean, just like Curtis said, loyalty is the biggest thing, which is gonna help you last in the YouTube world. So if you're gonna try and get someone with an ad, I feel like you will never have the loyalty with that subscriber. So that's why just the organic growth on YouTube is the best way to build your channel for the long term. You can get thousands of subscribers by ads, but if you want to last for, let's say, 5, 10, 15 years, then the organic way would be the best way.
This is why I can't get YouTube to sponsor my webinars. It's good. We're telling the truth about how YouTube really works. It's putting in the work, bottom line, isn't it? It's putting in the work. So just before we bring people up to ask questions, so you can raise your hands now and ask questions. Just before we do, I just want to recap some of the highlights there that I've taken. So Curtis, was mentioning, don't do a hard sell. Bring lots of value first to people if you can. Consistency in content. I love the analogy of yellow napkins, red napkins. I'm going to remember that forever. Every time someone passes me a napkin now, so thanks for that. But it's always napkins. It's just different versions of napkins, which I really like. And creating a shorts channel isn't something I've heard anyone else say. Even Mr. Beast, who of course is the god of YouTube. I haven't heard him talk about this.
Just quickly on that point, within a month, we got this 100,000 followers, and they're really pushing the shorts channel. That's just for the shorts channel. So yeah, it's definitely something to do.
Very impressive. And I think I think I've learned something there. Having a shorts channel wasn't something I was thinking of. I'm sure that's just a brilliant insight from your hard-earned success. So thanks for sharing that. Jatin said, remember, people are on the phone. I think this is something I also forget. I'm on a desktop right now, and sometimes you're checking out YouTube on a desktop. You just assume that, as you're designing things, it's full screen. It looks beautiful on your computer because that's probably where you designed it. And actually, in reality, most of the people we're serving are on their phone. So a really good point, and something just to kind of remind yourself every time you create a thumbnail or even a title. And get inspired from others who are doing similar things, I think is really true. I have many a time copied Mark and Curtis, many times. And even so much so that some people have said to me, this video is very much like Mark Tilbury's video. That's how much I've copied him. But I think that getting inspiration from others is in China, we call it copying. But here in the rest of the world, we call it learning. We learn from others. But I think it can be inspiring to see what other people are doing and give you ideas. Look into affiliate income. I think this is, you can Google this, you'll read all about it. But I think it's a really powerful way of monetizing your channel. And again, will hopefully feed you to allow you to keep doing what you do on YouTube. And then Afzal mentioned some great points. I mean, be consistent is a theme that everyone's mentioned, but it reminded us of that. And leveraging other platforms like LinkedIn and TikTok and actually all of these platforms, by the way, we've done webinars on how to make each of these platforms work for you. So you can go to the purposefulproject.com and learn about each of these channels. But cross-pollination on these platforms is really powerful. If you can become popular, as Afzal was on LinkedIn, and then leverage that to build up your YouTube channel, that will bring your fans across to another way of engaging with your content. And of course, LinkedIn is often a bit more short form, and you can probably have a deeper relationship with your customers on YouTube by bringing them across from LinkedIn. So really useful. Include keywords in everything you do was another thing Afzal highlighted. I mean, there is a tag system within the system of YouTube. Use it, despite the urban legends that perhaps it doesn't get leveraged by YouTube. It's there, use it, tag it with keywords of the content that you think is unique from your video to make people find you and connect to it. I love the point he mentioned about the resource, answerthepublic.com, because answerthepublic.com, the domain name kind of highlights, I think, the theme here, which is make sure that you are literally answering the questions of the younger you, answering the questions, as Afzal put it, but answering the questions that people need answers to. If you do that, if you bring that sort of value, people will come back again and again and again to your channel. So such great insights from our panelists, and I really appreciate it. Maybe now we've got a few people up on stage. We'll have some questions. So why don't we start with Dr. Zorbi? Do you have some questions for our panelists?
Hi everyone. First of all, thanks so much, guys. Learned so much from all of you already. I guess so. I probably just introduce myself. So I'm Zabir. I'm a medical doctor and the founder of Well Squared, and we provide chewable vitamins for busy people. That's the essence of it. But we also provide a lot of education through sort of blog posts as well. We've got to the stage where I feel that sort of the brand needs to be more front-facing by me, and the trouble is I'm struggling to decide whether to develop a personal brand alongside my business brand and using YouTube as a platform for that. I just wanted to gauge your thoughts, because I think my sort of thinking is that to add value, like you guys mentioned, is through providing authentic, engaging, thought-provoking content, and stick to a niche as well. Because initially I thought, let's make a podcast, let's do exercise videos, well-being tips, nutrition. Because like Asfar said, my unfair advantage is probably my education in medicine. So yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on how I can develop my personal brand alongside Well Squared, or whether I should just focus on Well Squared and then develop my personal brand through that. Thank you.
I always have an opinion on every question, but anybody, the panelists, want to answer this?
I mean, what I would say, there's an amazing example channel which you can watch. It's called Asheville. I don't know if you ever come across it, but that person, Asheville, is the name of the company, and it's a construction company. And the owner of that company, whose name I keep forgetting the name, but he basically does his day in the life and shows his company and what he does on a regular basis. Also teaches people about like something related to construction. So his subscribers are over 300,000 subscribers or so, but his engagement on every single video is also so great, because people are following him to also learn about the way he's doing business or the way he's teaching about stuff. At the same time, it's promoting his companies as well. Indirectly, it's promoting his company. And I feel like the best way to promote something is doing it in a way where you provide value and let the people choose whether they want to use your company or get something from your company or not. So I think if you combine both, and just rather than doing one separate personal brand and then keep your company separate, you could just combine it both. And once again, you could look online. I think it's called Asheville on YouTube, and you will come across that company who does a really good job at that.
Anybody else have a comment on this?
Yeah, I think if you really niche down into like the health, like people that want to get more healthy, and then use your unfair advantage of being a doctor and making 10 to 15-minute videos along those lines every week or so, or to stick into a consistent basis. We do twice every week, but once should be enough. Integrate your product into it without like hard selling, so you can have the occasional shout out about it. And then you can also branch out later and then bring that audience into a podcast or something like that. But yeah, I think start with the health niche and then you can change it up. Ali Abdul's a good example. He started off with the productivity. Well, he did but getting into medical school, then into productivity, and now he branches out into gadgets and all of the other stuff. So once you spearheaded into the market, then you can start branching out into other things.
Great, thank you.
And I would just add, I think one of your advantages these days is the brands that you might be competing with don't easily have a voice. They don't necessarily, they've led from a brand company perspective, but they don't necessarily have that human front end. Even Apple had Steve Jobs, and some of these big brands that have had voices have done really well. But that's another advantage I think you have. If you can you can represent the brand and talk to the brand, you can build both at the same time. And I know we're always quoting Mr. Beast. We're doing a YouTube Insights webinar here. We have to mention Mr. Beast a couple of times, but he's done a great job of doing both. People call him Mr. Beast now. Like that. That's kind of him. That's who he is. So if you can combine the two, I think that's very powerful. Just make sure you trademark it. I'm not a trademark lawyer, but I got caught out not trademarking everything. So just make sure you trademark your personal name and trademark your company name, and then go for it. Hopefully that was useful.
Yeah, no, that was super useful. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Great, good to see you. Ojas, you're next up. Would you like to unmic and ask the panelists a question?
Yes, hi everyone. So I want to ask, in the YouTube algorithm, YouTube promotes videos with the most video retention. And with this perception, where do you see YouTube SEO tool? Is it still powerful? Like, does YouTube promote videos with more SEO score or with more video retention? I guess Curtis can give the best answer for it.
Yeah, I think video retention is the key thing. So if you can get people over or 70% is Mr. Beast, but not everyone can be Mr. Beast giving away so much money in each video. So I'd say 60%, 50 to 60%. If you can get it over that, then that's when the SEO comes in handy. So we do evergreen videos and topical videos. The evergreen videos are more important to have the SEO, so then you can be ranking for years to come. Whereas the topical ones are to get those fast views now and into the channel and hopefully feed the evergreen videos. So yes, it is very important, but retention first, and then pick maybe every now and again to really go hard on an SEO video, so you can get views all the time.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't unmic, did the classic webinar thing. Anybody else got a comment on this point before we move on?
I think Curtis summed it up well. Evergreen
Yeah.
content and then topical content hits both sides, basically.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about, that Curtis guy, doesn't he? Okay, B, I like the mystery. Please unmic and ask your question. Makes me nervous when I just see B, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Hello, yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yes. Do you have a question for the panelists?
I do, yeah. We've just started a boxing podcast every Monday night, 8 o'clock. We started in about October. We're just wondering whether it's you know, we're posting enough content. We do it once a week for an hour, 8 till 9 p.m. on a Monday night. We've got 104 subscribers, so it's not growing as fast as we'd hoped. And we're just you know, we're just wondering whether we need to add more content if that's what's maybe holding us back a little bit. I'm not sure. Thank you.
Can you pop the link in the comment in the chat for a second? That might help us all. But anyone got any quick thoughts on this without seeing the channel?
I mean, I would give a quick one before Afzal says anything. Would be, I think when you create content, especially on podcast-based content, I feel like because it's long length, and if it's boxing as a niche, you would rather want to create content which is a bit controversial, the controversial topics, because those are the ones which people want to listen or click on and just to listen to. So that can kind of give the initial boost. And the second one is talk about things really happening in the boxing world, maybe right now, or something big which happened in the boxing world. I guess something around that would help your channel a lot, but I'll pass over to Afzal.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, oftentimes people think they need to pump out lots more content, and that can it increases the workload, but it might not be sustainable over the long run. So it might be a better idea to just double down on the content that you are producing right now, and then it goes back to using your other social platforms to push it, because if it's a podcast, one, you can push it to your own audience, the guests can push it to their audiences, and then you should also consider 8 to 9 p.m. on a Monday is at the best time for your audience to listen to it. Typically, podcasts get a lot of listen on morning commutes. I know we just got out of a pandemic, but morning times might be better. But that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay, thank you. I've just posted.
I'd also say a good way to create more content would be to make clips out of your podcast, the most engaging parts, and then put those up maybe even on Instagram Reels or TikTok. And we've had a few viral clips just of certain guests saying something. So just pick out the best parts that represent your podcast, and then people are more likely then to go and watch the longer version. And it's not necessarily making a ton more content. It's just repurposing what you've already got.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not a YouTube expert. I've learned from the people who are on the panel here, but I will just say that when I look at your YouTube channel, you could definitely do a better job in things like the thumbnails. You've got no clear explanation of what each video, it just says uploads and you've got shorts, but you probably could make it a little bit more digestible, understandable, people visiting your channel for the first time. And as I say, I think you're in the early stages of your channel journey as well. So maybe give yourself a bit of a break. And, most people, including the panelists, it's taken them, a year or two to get traction. So I feel like you're just starting your journey, and you've got 100 subscribers, that's that's pretty big, you know, like you got to perhaps celebrate the step-by-step moments. I had a little party when I got 100 subscribers, you know, make sure you do celebrate that. It's not a small achievement.
Yeah, no.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go on. I was just going to say, Brill, thanks for that. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Kurt.
I was just going to add one more thing. Looking at your thumbnails on the YouTube channel, a lot of them have a lot of text, and the text is very thin. And even I'm on a desktop right now, and it doesn't really stand out. So I would say a good rule of thumb is 4 to 5 words on the thumbnail and make it bold, so it grabs the reader's attention.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem. I will also look deeper into your channel later and see if we can give you maybe within our Discord community, you can come and join our entrepreneur Discord community, and we could try to give you some more feedback in there to help you grow your channel. But yeah, don't give up. That's for sure.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Have you got a link for the Discord, please?
Yeah, we'll put it in the chat right now. So we've got over 1,000 entrepreneurs in there now, and they can all help you. And that'll be 1,000 subscribers if they all just went and clicked subscribe. So good little boost. So we'll put the link to the Discord channel right now there for you.
Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome. My 4-year-old just snack into the corner of my studio, making his way towards me. So that's a good chance for me to mic and say, welcome to Sammy, who I think has a question, but there's also our partner from Tide. So Sammy, do you want to say hello? Did you have a question, or you just wanted to say hello?
I did have a question. I had a question as well. But yeah, hi panelists, love all your videos. So yeah, I'm Sammy, the Business Development Manager at Tide. I've left a message on the chat, so if anybody wants to catch up with me later for all things in relation to business banking, please do click on that Zoom link. My question is just about using third-party services. So during COVID, I tried making a few videos. I was trying to be really niche and focusing just on dash cams. I suddenly had a passion for dash cams. I was just going through that phase. So I thought, yeah, I'll just try making some TikToks on it. But then with a 9 to 5 and a family life, it just got really difficult to keep up with consistency and just balancing it all. So I know when I was chatting to a few friends and just on those Discord and Reddit and just trying to figure out what I'm doing, a few people were saying to use services like Fiverr to help edit videos, and especially like for like shorts and TikTok. I just wondered, is it worthwhile? Is it something I should have looked into? Because it sort of fizzled out and I've stopped doing it because I couldn't really finance buying all the videos. I wasn't making enough from it. I'm sorry, buying all the dash cams because I wasn't making enough for it. But have you guys tried experimenting, having someone else edit your videos at the start, or is that really a non-starter?
I mean, I can start. So when starting off, when I actually started my journey, the way I took it, because I also had a 9 to 5 job and I was doing uni, and I had to have my life as well with my friends. So why I realized that time was not something in my side, which is why I decided to batch record and batch edit everything. So this way I would choose a day of the week. So I know on a Saturday, Sunday, I'm off. So I would make sure I have all the content ready, written down if I'm scripting it or anything like that, ready on a Saturday, Sunday. I would just record it all. That's it. That's my all recording for the whole week done. Now I would take 2-3 hours, or maybe recording can take a lot of time. So if it's longer content, it can be more time. But if it's shorter content, let's say 4 or 5 hours, and I would just sit down and edit all that content. So that's literally a week's worth of content done for you. And you don't really have to worry about making a piece of content every single day. Then you can schedule it off, or some platforms don't have the feature yet. You will have to manually upload it, but uploading just takes you less than 30 minutes if you're going to write the captions and everything. So I feel like batch recording was my best friend when starting off, and it saves you a lot of time and allows you to do whatever you want throughout the other days. So that's my one kind of tip I would give.
Nice, Jane. Really great tip. Thank you.
No problem.
I 100% agree with what Jats is saying. I also would be a little bit worried using a service like Fiverr, although it's great for certain things. If you're using it for video editing and you don't have that full control over it, then maybe the quality is going to slip. And I think quality over quantity is so important on YouTube. So even if you had to have a consistent schedule that is less consistent and higher quality, I think that would still be a win-win for what you want to do. So yeah, just maybe less videos, but better quality would fix your issue.
Nice, thank you, Curtis.
Sami, thank you so much for your question and for Tide supporting these webinars and what we're doing. So thank you on both counts. Kip, you are up next. Do you have a question for the panelists?
I do. First off, thank you so much, because you don't always know who you're speaking to, but my jam, I go by Laughing Truth on TikTok, and my jam is to answer the really, really big, heavy questions in life and to help people find meaning as a hero every day. So I am not really popular with like this kind of stuff, and that's cool. But I had something that was like, I've had a lot of angst this week. I've tried to play video games. I've tried to watch Netflix and all that. And I just got rid of my monitor and got rid of all that stuff this week because I'm like, I just can't join the world that way. But what's really amazing is that at the same time that I thought of that, I said, I'm doing quite well on TikTok and I really enjoy the conversation. And I want to move over to YouTube. The question that I had is this, for some of you, and I'm sorry I didn't catch the name of the guy who had just started. He was the one who really started out most recently, and I apologize about that. I wanted to ask you, in getting started, did you go through some sort of a structured format on how to actually learn YouTube? Because you're talking to a person that doesn't know how to create a channel, doesn't know how to do any of that kind of stuff. So if that's something that you're willing to answer, and I apologize if that's below where you guys are, but I appreciate it.
I think the question you're asking, if I just frame it, is when each of the panelists were starting out their journey, did they get a reference point? Was there any particular place that they learned the basics from? Is that I mean, anyone got a quick thought on that? I mean, I think I would say Gary V personally. I think like a lot of us, I learned a little bit from him. He got me inspired to want to do YouTube. But I don't know anybody has a particular insight or a resource they found useful.
I just literally used YouTube to learn how to get started on YouTube. So watch all the videos. And the great thing is when you're starting out, you ain't got many subscribers, so you can really create poor content and no one's gonna laugh at you or anything. So you just focus on getting better with each video. And then eventually your subscriber count will grow. And when that's happening, you're doing something right.
Okay. I mean, my debate was I could just stay on TikTok rather than moving over to YouTube, but I want to entertain the YouTube shorts because TikTok has been kind of my place, if that makes sense.
TikTok, like, yeah, every social platform has its own benefits, right? And it's good to kind of, rather than just pick maybe one or two. But also it's important to understand that with TikTok and a lot of these other platforms, they have a creator fund or a pool of money that they will pay you from. But the difference with YouTube is that they don't have a pool of money that they pay you from. They share their revenues with you. So the earning potential from an AdSense perspective is a lot more on YouTube than other places. So that's something worth considering.
May I ask you one question, one final thing, and then I'll let you guys go. So if I had, what would your comparison, if I've got, I don't know, 10 or 11,000 people on TikTok, something like that, what would that translate to the same way? And I don't care about the money, but I'm talking about the engagement. What's your thoughts on that?
Very hard to say, really, isn't it?
I mean, just like Simon said, because it depends on your niche as well. So, for example, my niche or Curtis's dad, Mark Tilbury's niche, it's finance, right? So for us, 10,000 people. I remember making a video when I used to have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I don't know, the views were good as well. But I used to make around £1,000 a month from YouTube, whereas currently I have over 1 million followers on TikTok, but I have made a total of £1,000 in my lifetime on TikTok. So you see the major difference on YouTube. The earning potentials, as Afzal said, that it's endless. It goes bigger and bigger. Whereas on TikTok, I don't really see it doing more. And maybe in the future it will. And the second thing which I quickly want to mention about TikTok is that I realized that your followers are not really loyal, or the way TikTok works isn't really the way Instagram or YouTube works, because you might have 1 million followers and you will post a video. TikTok will not decide to show it to all your 1 million followers. It will still think as if you're a first time video person posting a video, and it will let the analytics say whether they want to show it to all your followers or not, which is why I realized that with TikTok, it's really hard to kind of build a good, loyal community compared to YouTube.
It also goes back to what you're selling as well, or if you're selling a product, for example, TikTok can make your video go viral, so then it might be useful if you're pitching a product or something, a link or something. So there's pros and cons.
Yeah, I'd say probably every follower on TikTok is worth, like 100 followers on TikTok is worth one subscriber. The value and the connection that you have there, and that's what we think about anyway on the conversion rates.
That's brilliant. Thank you guys so much. I really, really have learned a lot. I really appreciate you all.
Just one quick thing I'll throw out. Personally, I'm a subscriber to your TikTok channel, so you know, I'm one of your customers, I guess. But I would. This might be bad advice, but I just wondered what everybody thought of this. You could take your TikToks and you could put them as a short on YouTube, and it won't do any harm. That's my feeling. That might be bad advice, though. What does the panel think of that sort of suggestion?
I think it will get a lot of views very quickly, especially if they're successful on TikTok. But then transitioning to longer form content after building a channel just on shorts might be difficult. So if you did it a few and then long form as you went, then maybe that'd be a better idea. Or you just wanted to build a shorts channel and then transition people from the shorts channel to a main channel, because you can actually do that with links in the description, which you can't do on TikTok. Then that might be a good idea. But yeah, it's a good way to get views fast, but it might be tricky to transition to longer form.
The theme with you, Curtis, I always discover is there's no shortcut. That's basically it. I was thinking you could just take his TikToks and put them on shorts and become super famous, and that would be it. But no, we have to do the proper videos too. No shortcuts. I think that should be your t-shirt. Lots of hard work, no shortcuts. Yeah. But anyway, I hope you found that useful.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Cool. Jake, final question before we close today's discussions. Please unmic. What question do you have for the panelists?
So just a quick one. I launched 16 days ago, and I've been posting 4 videos a week, and I backlogged about 30 videos before going live. If I was to now shift the posting schedule because I'm like burning out when it comes to actually creating the videos, would that affect the YouTube algorithm? I'm not so worried about the subscribers because we have none, but the algorithm, would that affect us in any way by shifting that posting schedule?
As you don't have too many subscribers at the moment, I would say probably not, because people aren't accustomed to seeing your video 4 times a week. And then do you feel like posting four videos a week as well, the quality of the videos suffer, or are they just as good as they would be if you did 1 a week?
Yeah, that is one thing which from this panel discussion, I'm starting to reconsider, hence why I'm asking the question, because I think that maybe if I was to focus a little bit more and post 1 a week and get the content up to scratch, then it would do better.
Yeah, I think if you focus on really getting that retention up and the click-through rate like through the roof, then you'll notice an extreme boost in your channel.
Okay.
I do think this is another distinct difference perhaps between YouTube and TikTok. And, you know, I think you can post up lots of videos on TikTok and some will do well and some won't. And that's not the end of the world. On YouTube, it is about quality, I think. I mean, it's often talked about that you worry about the thumbnail first and the subject line, and the video can be mediocre. It doesn't matter. I think today that's not true. I feel like there's so much on YouTube and a lot of quality on YouTube. You actually do need to create that video. Better quality is better than lots of quantity.
And it would be great if you guys took a look and just saw if the branding looks good. I'm quite proud of our thumbnails and branding, so it'd be good if you could just take a quick look. But if you have time, obviously we're running out. It's 7 o'clock, so. Sure.
Yeah. Well, I will have a look. And again, we'll put the link to our Discord channel, and you can get some feedback from the community if it helps. But I'm conscious that the panelists have all given up their evening.
Yeah, no problem.
But if they want to give you quick feedback, they're welcome. I don't want them to feel they're obliged.
Just quickly, I think the yellow is quite good and the big faces are good on the thumbnails. But I'd really work on those titles, because at the moment it's timeline and then the name of the person. You could actually come up with a really catchy title, maybe apart from that video that people really want to watch, to really increase that click-through rate. But yeah, the colors, your eyes are drawn to those colors and the faces for sure.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, you make good use of people, famous people. That always helps, I think.
It does, yes.
But yeah, it's yeah, it's always tricky to get the balance right, but I think you've got something interesting going on there. I've just subscribed.
Thank you so much.
So any other comments before we move on? I guess people might be looking at the YouTube channel, but if not, then I'll let everybody go and thank the panelists again for giving up their time. I really appreciate it. Thank you. For anybody listening that wants to follow the panelists, we'll put the links to them now in the chat one more time. And I hope you all got a lot of value. This will now be going on YouTube, ironically, and probably won't get that many views because it's not quality from beginning to end or something. We're probably doing something wrong. So we'll get our own YouTube video about YouTube reviewed by these panelists to make it get more views. But thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out to come and share your knowledge. And yeah, thanks so much. Have a wonderful evening.